Alrighty, what is going on, ladies and gents? Welcome back to the channel for another market update. Hope everybody's having a lovely day. And with that being said, let's dive into some TA. All right, guys, we're going to jump right into it, starting with SPY's daily time frame. I am going to point out you did close above the daily 9, which is a good look. We did say in the weekly update that you are rallying right into it off of decreasing volume, and you're probably going to dance around it. You usually don't just bust up above it. And if you do bust up above it, you come back to retest it and, you dance around it. That is what we have going on currently. We have PPI tomorrow morning, and then we have CPI on Wednesday morning, 8:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time for both of those catalysts. They will be moving the market. CPI is going to be the big one. All right. That is, hey, you rally into that event, you could very likely get a pullback off that. But then I'm also going to point out you're going to, maybe if you rally into that, maybe it sets you up to come right over here and we get a fresh breakout. I remember a CPI day, I think it was over here, gave us a big breakout. No, it wasn't over there. I don't remember where that was. Over here. That's what, it was, right here. I remember it was a big downtrend break that I was paying attention to, right? And then, boom. You had a big gap up and then you went. All right. So that was the thing that broke you out. If we have a good day tomorrow and then a good CPI reaction, you very well could break out of that downtrend and then you could start pushing back up to the highs. I'm not saying that is going to happen, but that is something that, we will talk about if that starts presenting itself. So we'll talk about it. Right now, guys, you do have the golden pocket sitting right above. All right, 0.618 fib is right by that 537.45 level right over here. I'm going to come down to the hourly time frame, and I am going to point out what happened. We pointed out you had that ugly double bottom breakout. Okay, right here. That's your neckline. Okay, you got above there, and now you're just ranging out over here. All right, you got a little flag action going on. You're ranging out, and the top of that range is going to be, you're looking for an hourly close above 534.51, and then if you want to break down from that range, it's 531.59. So if you do start getting under there, and I'm also going to point out you're riding up that hourly 9 here, you're literally getting all these positive reactions off of it. This, it could just be setting this up as some consolidation before the next little leg higher here. This doesn't look bad to me at all. It really does not. This does not look bad. Look at this, guys. This is kind of beautiful. All right, so it's definitely something to keep in the back of your mind, is how sexy this chart is really looking here. It's not looking all that bad. You just got the breakout and you're consolidating above the previous high. That's something to take note of. All right. But again, if you get that rally day into CPI and you're in profits, and even if you're not, it might not be the worst idea to take risk off the table right before that big unknown catalyst, and then just wait for the dust to settle. Then boom, you can reassess how things are looking after and go from there, because we probably do get a direction off the CPI. It's either going to bring us down for a big pullback or leg down, which very well could bring us, okay, if it's going to be a pullback, it could bring us all the way back here, down here, 524.61 to 520.75, with 520 sitting right under there at the 0.618 fib. Or, you get another leg down. That's the bearish scenario here, those two bear scenarios. Or you end up, getting that, what I discussed over here, where you push up here, push up to this downtrend, and you break out from there, and it sets you up for rally mode. We're probably going back up the highs at that point. So CPI very well could be giving us our next little market direction here. We're going to see what happens here. Okay, you've had one leg, you've had two, you've had 3, 4. Is this going to be 5? I have absolutely no idea. No idea. It's either going to go like that, you're going to do what we just discussed. You're going to consolidate right here, come up here, break out of that downtrend, and then boom, you're going to push this high up here. All right, guys, on the hourly time frame, levels you're paying attention to. Okay, above 534.51, you have 535.73, and then 537.45. On the downside, if you break under 531.59, you have 529.80 and 528.60. That is that. Underneath 524.61. Moving over here to QQQ, I'm going to point out, guys, again, decreasing volume on this push up. You keep making these highs, you have volume waning over here. It's not the best look. All right. So again, I'm going to say the same thing. We got PPI tomorrow morning and CPI on Wednesday morning. It's going to be, giving us some direction here. You're either going to break out of this little thing you got going on here, which you're definitely more you know, set to break out off these catalysts off of, you know, over here on QQQ over SPY. But, you know, you're either going to do that or you're going to get a next little move down. I can't say if it's going to be a leg down or not. But even if it is just a decent pullback, it probably does come near this golden pocket down here, which is just a ways away. All right. That would be an ugly move down. So, you know, that's why I was saying maybe wait for dust settle and then, you know, reassess where things are moving from there. Because we really don't know how this catalyst is going to move price. We really have no idea how the market participants are going to react to that. Same thing over here as SPY. You got above the daily 9 there. Okay, daily 9 EMA. You did gap above it. You came back to retest it. And what I do want to point out here, you also came back to retest this level. All right, so that was your ugly double bottom neckline, just like SPY is consolidating above it. You got QQ doing the same thing. You're just doing the same thing with this riding up the daily 9. If you want to see price spill over, you're going to want to break this, you know, daily 9 here. You want to see an hourly close underneath it, which you just haven't had since you recovered over here, right? Get that. That's your warning sign that things are beginning to shift. That would be that right here. You start to break it down right there. What happened? You gap down. All right. So, you know, bad things could happen. Look at this. All right. You're rallying, bouncing off it. You get underneath it. Okay. That was the beginning of the downturn. All right, and then you rallied, but it was for a lower high. All right, so it's just, you know, an early warning sign on the lower time frame chart, the hourly time frame over there, as compared to the daily. That is what I'm looking at. Okay, guys. So levels on this one is above 453.57. We have 455.63. We should be expecting sellers to step in there, considering that is where you broke down from over there. This is definitely going to be a key spot. All right, there's a pretty sexy price action you had there. You had this little range going on. You were finding buyers stepping in 3 days in a row. Not 3 days in a row, but 3 tests in a row here. Broke down underneath it, and now we're clear as day coming right back into it on that decreasing volume. And I'm not saying you can't go higher off decreasing volume, but, you know, I made a post over on Twitter. Go check out the link below. It is, you know, down in the description below there. But yeah, I put out a tweet. It is my pinned tweet right now on just a little volume price analysis because someone wanted to leave a dickhead kind of comment and say, oh, the second this guy mentioned that volume had anything to do with moving price, that's when I knew he had no idea what I'm talking about. You're an idiot if you think that. I'll give you a little walkthrough, all right? I'll give you just a little walkthrough. We'll come all the way back here into this range, all right? Big red bearish engulfing candlestick here. What did you get? All right, what did you get? You had sellers, okay? You had sellers supporting a big bearish engulfing candlestick suggesting they wanted to get their way. What happened? You gapped down and you closed lower the next day. You don't have to get both of those things, all right? So increasing volume on a bearish candlestick, I either look for a move underneath those lows, or, so that's one way sellers can get their way, or you get a gap down and then they raise you up throughout the end of the day. Either way, sellers were in control of this trading session. That suggests they took positions and they are motivated to make some money. You make money as a seller taking a position within this candlestick if price moves underneath the low of that candlestick, and that is what we have right there. Okay, regardless, you gap down, you close red on the day, heavy volume, increasing volume there. That suggests sellers are still in control. They want to get their way again. What happens? You have a big, fat, nasty gap down. You closed out with a green candlestick this time. Sellers were not in control throughout the day because you started the day right here. You barely got shoved down by sellers, and buyers were in control the whole freaking day until the end of the day. Sellers stepped in just a little bit over there. You had increasing volume on the day, so you can clearly see by the candlestick here, buyers were in control the whole day. They shoved you up $10 here from you know, the open to close here, but all in all, it did shove you up $18. Pretty big move. And you had heavy volume, which does suggest, hey, all right, they want to get their way. What happened the next day? Well, not only did you gap up, but you also closed, okay, higher. You also went above the previous high day. Those are 3 ways that buyers got their way, that were taking positions right here, right? What happened on the next day? You had decreasing volume, okay? Why on this day do you have decreasing volume? You went higher. You want to see the conviction here. You want to see more than what we got over here. So we know that sellers, okay, now tricks can be played. Sellers are probably going to be getting their way. What happened? Yes, you gapped up, you went above the high, but you still ended the day underneath. You end at the low, all right, underneath the close over there and the open, all right? Sellers got their way. Well, what happened? You have a really wide candlestick here, larger than the previous day over here, and it's off decreasing volume. That is a trick candlestick right there. When you got a big wide body bar in either direction on low volume, that opens the door for a trick. And it likely means that that was a trap day. And that's typically what I see follow that. What happened? You gap up the next day 1.5% and you rally and you head back up to that high and you literally tested it. Well, that was your trap. All right, what happened the next day? It's not always going to be perfect. You had the decreasing volume on this big green day. Sellers want to get their way. All right, conviction, isn't there in the buyers, guys. Sometimes we just get candlesticks that don't really give us too much. And those are like, hey, all right, it's something like this. Okay, you got the decreasing volume. Don't expect too much here. Don't from the buying end. Okay, if this had heavy volume on the day, you open yourself to maybe a gap and go. All right, but you didn't have that. You gapped down the next day. Yes, you closed above, but you gapped down. So that's what I was saying in the beginning. You just look for sellers to get their way in some way, shape, or form there, and you got to be open to that. So let's say you did have on a day like this, all right, decreasing volume. And, all right, so you're over here. All right, let's look at it this way. All right, increasing volume right here. It's very likely that buyers want to get their way. They want to make some money, okay? Let's say you hit it with a gap down here. This is how this is exactly how I look at things. Hit it with a gap down. What happens next? Well, now hey, you had increasing volume, heavy volume on a big wide body bar the previous day. You're getting that gap down, so buyers haven't gotten their way yet. So now you look for them to drive prices up and get above that high, all right? Or a green day. Okay, so either a red to green move or a full-on red to green above the previous high of day. Like either way, the buyers are looking to make some money there. That's how I would be using that. All right, so guys, that is volume price analysis for you. I'm just going to tell you right now, we got extremely low volume on the day here. This is very comparable, to some of these lowest volume days we've had over here. All right, so there's not much going into this event that we really, have a clue here. That's why I covered both scenarios there. But here on the hourly time frame, let's just go over some levels. Above 453.57, we have 455.63. Underneath 449, we have 446.85, and then 445.34. And that is that. Moving on to IWM over here, I am going to point out, all right, you're still underneath the daily 9 here. You have not tested it like the other indices there. I'm going to focus here on the hourly time frame, okay? We are going to have supports in right there at 204.64. You're kind of just holding on there. All right, you can see where, you're trying to get back above it. Okay, that was a high from over there. Underneath there, what are we paying attention to? We're going to pay attention to that recent low we put in here on the day, 203.82. Underneath that, you have nothing until you come all the way down here to 201.56. On the upside, all right, I'm going to put this level on the board right there. Break above 204.98. You have a move up to 205.81. Okay, and you know what? I'm actually going to take this off. Watch this little range you got going on here. It's not too fat. You're not missing out on too much if you decide to not trade the range. All right, you get a breakdown. You have it clear as they move down here. You break up. All right, play it level by level. You're probably coming all the way back up here. Both sides equal a $2 move. That's what I've been paying attention to. Above 205.81, you have 207.11 and then 207.96. DIA. What do we got going on, guys? You're coming back, scraping back from the dead here. Again, you just dance around these daily 9s, guys. This is exactly what I was talking about. Now, what I will point out is you got a bearish engulfing candlestick on the day with that decreasing volume. Now, I don't like DIA. All right. Sometimes it's clean, but most of the time the TA it's subpar compared to the other indices. But I am just gonna say, if things are to play out here, you look for buyers to get their way tomorrow. You're open for a trick, and that is that. Okay, but again, you're just dancing around this 9 here. You are either going to come back and then test at some point and probably break above it, or you break above it, okay, and you could very well come back to test it like that. All right, and that could be something you pay attention to. But either way, bounce it back from that golden pocket. You watch the next golden pocket, since this was a straight impulsive move down within 3 training sessions, down 6.5% on the Dow. All right, guys, so up there at 401, you have the 0.618 fibs and right above. You watch 398.08 and above there 401. That's your resistance. You expect sellers up there. VIX, this is why I really say, hey, we could definitely have a negative reaction here around these events that could shove us down for that either pullback or that full on next leg lower, which I don't think is going to be the case, but you know, you got to be open to it when things are looking like this. Now, we were prepared for this going into the week. All right. We were definitely, this is, you know, the reason we were looking for a bounce here. One of them is that VIX is coming down into this demand zone. And this is where buyers have to hold. If you get underneath 1936, you have a straight shot at getting all the way down here to 16. All right. You don't want to do that. If you're a bear, you don't want to do that. You're a bull on the VIX, you don't want to do that. VIX does not want to do that. But if it happens, that is how it's probably going to go. You saved yourself. All right, right there at the bottom, you put in a hammer candlestick where you had to put in a hammer candlestick, and now opens up the door to a little bit of a you know, a bullish reaction off here. Hammer, bullish day. All right, hammer, bullish day. 13.5% and a 22% day. Okay, hammer, gap up. All right, I'm not saying it was the biggest gap up, but 3.5% gap up. You see what I'm saying? All right, perfect spot though. You got your demand zone 1936 to 2136, and you very well could get a positive reaction off that zone. All right, now we're going to quickly speed run through everything else. We're already at 16 minutes. We're going to try and keep this under 20 minutes, so I apologize, but we're going to spend like 10 to 20 seconds on each of them. Downtrend, you're sitting right at it. It's a make or break moment for SMH. PPI is going to be the catalyst that either breaks it down, all right, or it breaks it up. Again, I'm going to remind everyone, dance around the 9 EMAs. You got decreasing volume as you keep making these highs. I'm just going to say things don't look too good right now. You got VIX looking like that. I, you know, would not be surprised to see this negative reaction off of these catalysts. That's that. SMCI, guys, you're coming back from the dead. You're getting some moves, okay? Did close out with that upper wick. That's not the best move, or not the best look, but I do like what's going on over here with the daily RSI. You did get above 30 today, which that is a plus over here, okay? You got the increasing volume on the day, and I was personally looking for a test of this 580 level up there, which would align with that daily 9 EMA. NVIDIA, what do we got going on, guys? All right, I am going to point out, got this little, look at it like that. You look at it like that, I would say probably have that one going on right there. If you get above 114, that would be a breakout here. I have to assume you probably just come up here and test 121.50 at that point. Maybe you know, have a wick here that stems above here up to there, and then boom, you close back under, and that's your, you know, little high before a little pullback here. Not sure how that goes, but guys, above 114, you watch 118 and then 121.50. Okay, you look for sellers here, just like what happened today. You see how you close right by this 0.618 fib as well as this 108.72 resistance. Well, that's not really a you know, surprise here. That's where we were expecting sellers. Again, dance around the 9. Okay, rejection came back, busted above it. Okay, you got more strength. Look for it to retest that thing, and buyers should hold that thing. That is what you want to see as a bull. Avgo, what do we got going on over here? Again, dance around that 9. It's really not the worst look, but we got low volume across the board. Things ain't looking the best. We're just going to have to wait and see what happens off these catalysts. That is just my, you know, what I'm going to say. We're going to have to do right now. And AMD, all right, above 136.81, you watch 139.14, then 141.15. That is going to be a key level right there. Got above the daily 9. That is that. On the downside, you watch 134.05 and then 130.24. MU, all right, rejection at the daily 9 so far. Declining volume on this little pump. That's what we got going on. ARM, again, rejection at the daily 9. All right, TSM, this is one that got above it a few days back. Look for it to pull back and test that guy. On the downside, we watched the high of that candlestick at 164.75 and then 160.78. That is if 167.12 does not end up holding, because now you're trying to reclaim that level, and that is not the worst look. You have a bullish engulfing candlestick. You do have the declining volume. Not the best look in the short term, but you know, I do like that this thing is gone so far, and now it opens itself up for a higher little pullback. Now that you broke the downtrend, got above the daily 9, you know, it's really not the worst look in the midterm. That's what I'm saying. All right, QCOM broke out of that downtrend, retested that downtrend, hammer candlestick, increasing volume. This thing is very sexy. All right, it is very sexy, and I'm going to lay out a trade plan for us right now on it. All right, above 165.89, these are the levels that I am paying attention to, and I kind of really want to play this guy. This thing looks really sexy. I was paying attention to it. I did not see that you put in this hammer though at the end of the day here. That's pretty beautiful. Okay, you're underneath the 9. That's fine. Okay, get above it, you're going to look a whole lot better, which is why we're going to say above 165.89. You got really nothing until you come up here at 173.27. So, that is what, I'd really be looking for over here, and what, I think I'm going to be looking for over the following trading sessions. I'm going to put my alert right there. Okay, real tight stop. You enter it right up here, real tight stop. Okay, you look for your 15-minute close above it. That is a trigger for that trade. That is that. If you really want to get a head start there, 163.35, you probably get some moves up to 165.89. That is that. Okay, we're going to talk about these big boys, and we'll go on our way. Okay, I got to drive to New York tonight. Apparently, I got a New Yorker accent. I'm about to be with these New Yorkers tonight, man. That's how that gonna be. All right, guys. So Apple also just, at this downtrend here. A lot of these charts are sitting right there. You're getting rejection at either downtrends. All right, some are getting some breakouts, but a lot of, dance around these nines here. I'm just going to point out the levels, okay? 217.13, you did get your close above that level. Okay, you're trying to scrape by. You're really trying to break out here from the looks of it. But hey, above 217.13, 220.33, and then 220.227. 220.227 is really a key level there. That's what I see. This is just an intermediate. It shouldn't cause a big reaction, but it's just for taking profits if you're trading it. All right, underneath 217.13, 214.62, and then underneath there, 210.30 should be a big spot. Microsoft, all right, downtrend break, rejection at the 9, get above there. I really like it. See that arrow? Okay, I drew that over here. I think this is probably how this goes, all right? How you could get a little pop and then pull back, or you get a little pullback and then pop. We're going to have to see how that goes. Daily RSIs have now gotten their bounces. We've gotten a decent bounce from the bottom on pretty much everything. So that's something to know. Okay, but that's Microsoft. Amazon, guys, you're just ranging right in between 168.77 and 166.32. This is kind of a great look, all right? It gives you a real clear picture. You break down underneath 166.32, very well could retest 161.43. All right, you break above, however, 168.77. You have nothing till 173.87. That'll be a great look. Meta, okay, came back, retested our 510 level, printed a hammer candlestick / pin bar candlestick off of that with that declining volume. So, that does open you up. I wouldn't expect too much tomorrow. Maybe get some sort of indecision candlestick or a bearish candlestick. I just wouldn't expect too much. You're probably just going to keep consolidating right here. But hey, anything could happen. I just don't like how you very clearly could see price continue to, perform bullishly with decreasing volume. I just don't like it. So that's that. But on the upside, 523.86, 527.17, and 531.49. Those are your TPs. Goog. All right. Rejection at the 9 today. All right. You got back underneath 164.50. Now you're watching 161.70. If you can reclaim 165.87, as we broke down from over here, you could test 170.97, which is going to be the low of that candlestick right there. Tessie. All right. Tessie. Closed out with the hammer candlestick, came down to support, and got a bid. All right. There you go. It's really not looking all too bad. You held that level twice, right? So you got two little trade ideas there if you really did take it this morning, if you were watching what we talk about here. There's that, guys. If you don't have to be watching everything that we talk about in these videos. If there's are a few tickers that you really like trading, hey, all right, get some alerts at these levels, mark up your charts, and just wait for these alerts to be hit. That's really that. You ain't got to complicate it. Tessie, not looking too bad over here. You got bid up at the 0.618 fib and 195 support down there. And now you're just continuing to consolidate in a bullish manner above 270. Let's look for a move up here to 205.60. That is that. All right. We're going to quickly close out here with Bitcoin. All right, guys. So Bitcoin is end up looking, it's looking a little sloppy here. I am going to point out you got increasing volume on this indecision candlestick, which just suggests one of them is lying. I'm going to guess the candlestick is lying. A position was taken, their positions, all right, by whales were taken here in this candlestick, and we can't see the big volume spikes are bullish. I'm going to assume that Bitcoin's probably going to be catching a bid over the coming trading sessions. Just what I'm going to be looking for. 63,794. That is what I'm watching. All right. Coin, how we looking? More consolidation underneath the 9. Just wait for the move. All right. CLSK came back down. Not really looking all too bad. If you were to take your retracement here, your Fibonacci retracement, Found buyers in the golden pocket, increasing volume on this pin bar candlestick. Probably do get some upside tomorrow in the following trading sessions. Mara, not the best look, but you are back down in the golden pocket. You do have that increasing volume. So, I would suspect we're probably going to be testing 1462 tomorrow. That is what I'd be paying attention to. And underneath there, you got the low of this candlestick. And you got all the way down here. All right, so that's what you're really watching, 1418 and then 1366. That is that. 1462 is going to be right here above the 0.786 fib, so that's a level of interest there if you're watching tomorrow. All right, but honestly, if you're going to be trading these things, CLSK just had earnings. I would argue that this is going to be the best one that moves with options. Okay, out of Coin, Mara, HUT, all these things. Okay, Cypher. CLSK is what I have found to move the best. So, that would be, my focus over here. We're talking Bitcoin. If you get another shove underneath this low, look for a bottom to be put in, a major bottom. And that is that. It would put in a bullish divergence, or you would have two taps down here in oversold territory. And, you normally don't get much more than that. That's that. All right, guys. So that's what I got for you today. I hope everybody had a lovely day, and I hope everybody has a lovely rest of their day. That being said, I'll catch you all in the next one. Peace.